Hey, it's me, Miss Crichton. Today we're starting the second day of our new unit. Our FQ is, who were the Cherokees? For the do now, answer this question. Do you think violent or nonviolent resistance would be a better strategy for Indigenous people in the 1800s? Why? You can answer this question in the initial hypothesis box of the new Google Doc we're starting today. Pause this video now while you respond to the do now. The main context or background information you need to understand this unit is the Indian Removal Act, which was passed in 1830. Act is another word for law. This law forced all the Native Americans living in the eastern United States to move west of the Mississippi River to a land called Indian Territory. The main advocate for this law was President Andrew Jackson, who pushed Congress to pass the law and even violated the authority of the Supreme Court in order to carry out this law. By the way, every president gets to choose the presidential portrait that hangs behind their desk in the Oval Office. Guess who Trump has hanging behind his desk? This Indian Territory in the West was what's known as a reservation. A reservation is undesirable land where Indigenous people were forced to live after their ancestral land was taken from them. Reservation land was typically land that whites did not want because it was too dry, lacking in resources, or just too far from white centers of civilization. The U.S. government took this reservation land from other Indigenous groups who were already living there, divided it up, and assigned it to several eastern nations of Indigenous people. In exchange for this reservation land, these Indigenous nations, including the Cherokees, Seminoles, Creeks, Chickasaws, and Choctaws, were supposed to give up their ancestral lands in the East where they had lived for hundreds or thousands of years. Of course, the Indian Removal Act was a really bad deal for Indigenous people. All 5 of the major Indigenous nations in the East fiercely resisted this law, but in different ways. Our big unit question is, was violent or nonviolent resistance a better strategy for Indigenous people facing removal in the 1830s? We'll be comparing and learning from the resistance of the Cherokees and the Seminoles in this unit. Your assignment today is to complete Day 1 of the Indigenous Resistance Google Doc. Today, you'll learn more about the Cherokees and use this evidence to revise your hypothesis. That's it for me. Thanks for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.